Hello friends, welcome to Data Gyan Academy, your go-to place for real Power BI interview questions, tricky DAX formulas, and job-ready analytic tips. Today we are solving a DAX interview question that's rarely explained but super powerful in real-world projects. How do you filter a visual using a slicer without creating a relationship in the model? Let's solve it with the DAX logic using TREATAS function. Here is our data set. We have two tables. One is sales and another one is slicer table. So here if you see in sales table, we have order date, sales amount, category and order year. Into slicer table, I have some years 22, 23 and 24. Now if you see into model view, you see we don't have a relationship between the two tables. So now, without having this relationship, we will establish a relation using a DAX function called as TreatAs. Let us go into the report view and we will create our first DAX measure. The first DAX measure is very simple, total sales measure. So I'll say total sales is equal to, it is simple sum of sales amount. Now let me show you the problem statement. What I mean is I'll create a slicer and I will drag the year from slicer table into the field. Let me convert this into tiles or I'll say vertical list. Now if you see I have a slicer over here. One more, I'll create a visual of column chart. Into this I will drag sales amount into y-axis and order date into x-axis. Now I don't want date hierarchy, so I'll keep month into this. Let me go. Yes. Now if I choose any of the slicer, you see there is no change in the bar chart. Why? Because the relationship is not established between the sales table and the slicer table. Now let us create that magic DAX expression which will create a relationship. So I'll say sales by slicer year is equal to, I will say, calculate into expression total sales which I have already created, comma. Now I will use TreatAs function. Into that I will use values. For values I want slicer table year, right? I'll close the bracket, comma, sales of order year, and then I'll close my calculate function and I'll press enter. Now our DAX formula is correct. Let us see what does it gives. So I'll click on the bar chart and into y-axis I will drag the created measure. Now if I use the slicer, so you can see it is working. Similarly, if I say 2024, the chart is been updated. This is how, without having a relationship between sales table and slicer table, yet we can use TreatAs as a function to have a relationship in direct ways. Here is a tip for you. TreatAs is a perfect when physical relationships can't be created, like when tables have different granularity or when you want to keep your model clean. Combine this with calculate for dynamic and flexible logic. If this helped you, like, subscribe and share it with your analytics team. In the next video, we will compare TreatAs versus cross filter and when to use each in your model. This is Data Gyan Academy, building your DAX confidence one problem at a time. Thank you.